Hi, thanks for being here. And if you guys are still here, then I'm sure you are like super awesome people. In the beginning of this lecture, I just want to motivate you guys a bit that the good days are coming. That is why I just keep this picture on my screen, on my search screen, that the ones that are like really starting now seems like they are like super struggling and they have like different things covering them and super cold right there. And when you are done with that little bit of struggling part where things are not like making sense and you are assuming like if the learning part or if the beginning part is like this much super complex, then how would be the development part, how much would that be tough? So but at the end you can just simply see the one sitting at the top of the mountain is like really enjoying. So you have to stick till the end of this course in order to get something out from it, okay? And I know things don't make sense sometimes, so don't worry, and you will get at least that much that you can easily read someone else's code and you won't end up confusing other things, okay? So let's just talk about Python numbers. If you get something out from the previous videos, then you guys are like super confident, then you know like much about these things, okay? So we have like three types of categories: integer, float, and complex, okay? And then the variables or numeric types are created when you assign a value to them, okay? So whenever you assign a value, they just automatically are like given the type, okay? So you can just simply use this type thing and you can just simply know that whatever the variable is there, you can simply know the type, okay? And I mean like integer, int or integer is a whole number, positive or negative without the decimal, and unlimited length, okay? So it's like super unlimited length. So either you are using any three type of these, it's still an integer. And the float types would be the ones that are having like positive and negative but containing one or more decimals, okay? In our current number format, we have like these three numbers having decimals, and third one, I mean like z is having a negative decimal number, and they all of them are like still now. So float can also be a scientific number with an e to indicate the power of 10. So I mean like if we are like using this thing, that is, it's like mainly telling like 35e3, 12e4, and like minus 87.7 e100, okay? Let's just practice this one and see what we have in the screen, okay? So let's just create a new cell showing Python numbers, and now right here y equals to minus 37.2 e5, okay? And now let's just print what is really inside this thing. So it's basically like 37, and then e5 means you have to multiply it by a number which is having like 5 zeros. So you're basically multiplying it by 10, 100,000 and 10,000. So you're really multiplying 37.2 minus 37.2 with 10,000, and then what you get is like 2 is like changing the decimal position, and then you're adding just 4 zeros to it, and then so you can just simply call it as minus 37.2 multiplied by 10 raised to the power 5. This is basically the number that we declared, okay? And simply these and these things, okay? You can write the small e with a capital E, okay? Let's just try it with the capital E too. So z equals to 5e2, and printing z comma as well as the type of z, okay? Although 5 was simply an integer, but with an e raised to the power 2 was like the answer would end up maybe in decimal places. So the Python just initialized that number with a floating data type, okay? And oh, I forgot to use the big E here. So yeah, but the things are still the same, okay? So 5 times 100, so that would be like 500, okay? The other type, and that type would be complex number, okay? The ones that were not like making sense, okay? So complex number would be the ones having like imaginary part attached to it, okay? The imaginary part would be represented by this j, and one way would be like the one having a real part too, I mean like 3 plus 5j, and this one is like only having the imaginary part to it, okay? But all of them would be of the type complex, one thing. And the other thing is that if we want to like let's just practice this thing for now, and let's just say x equals to 45 plus, and then let's just say like 4j, and then print x, and also the type of x. Okay, x and the type of x would be, so the number would be 45 plus 4j, and the complex class would be it would belong to a complex class. Let's just try to add two numbers, okay, and see what we have. Okay, let me just balance the screen right here. So let's just say, like, so we have an x variable here and y is like initialized with the, let's just say 3j. Okay, 4j, printing like x plus y, and let's see what we have. So, and yeah, we know that thing that in mathematics, if a complex number is like real plus imaginary and the other one, x is like real plus imaginary, y is like only having imaginary part, so only these numbers can be added. Okay, that is why 4j was added 2j, and the other one I don't really remember the number that I declared, so there was like 45 plus 4j, and only just 2 and 4 were added and like 6j, and the other one was like same as it is. So we have our result here. Okay, so I guess you guys would be like comfortable with that thing too. So let's just talk about a bit of type conversion things. Okay, so you can really convert a data type of a number too. Okay, I mean, like if the numbers were like integer, float, and a complex number, and you are just creating a new variable, a equals to the float category of x, so a would be basically now having 1.0. okay, because floats are like super touchy about the decimal numbers. Okay, and if you are like converting b to an integer type of y, so that would be like only 2. So let's just say if a equals to 4.5, b equals to integer form of a, and integer form of a, then print b, so it would simply be dropping the other part. Let's just say, I mean, like round off that number or not. Yeah, so without rounding off, you are just ending up with a simple number here. Okay, and now you are storing c with a complex form of x. Let's just see what we have here. So let's just say we have a variable c equals to the complex. You can see yourself too that the color is changed here. Okay, so the complex form of a, and yeah, a was the one with the decimal number. So now if I'm just simply printing what's inside c, so that would be, yep, I guess you guys have an idea. I mean, like, so a was basically a float number, so float number is like a real number. So the real part was 4.7 and the imaginary part was initialized with the 0 to it. Okay, and now, so I guess we are like super comfortable with whatever that is printing here and what are the type here. And now let's just talk about the random numbers a little bit. So Python has a random function here. It just initializes a variable if you are just storing something. I mean, like if you are creating something, I mean, like you are creating a variable and then storing a random using a random function, anything to it. So let's just see. So it's a little bit of out of the scope for this video, but let's just have like, it's still a number, so let's just cover it a bit, and whenever we need that thing we'll be talking about this again. Okay, so how to use that thing. So random number, to make a random number, but Python has a built-in module called random that can be used to make a random number. Okay, so in order to, so what are the modules are basically a chunk of our functionality, or are the uh, built-in classes. Okay, and that classes really have some functions inside them. We'll talk about these things a little, but let's just say Python has something that is covering the random category to it. Okay, and you can just simply import that thing if you want to use that thing, and write that thing, use a comma, and then you can just have a list of the functions that it really has. I mean, like the way we were using the variables things too. Okay, so they do have their, and then the rand range would be like you are using a random category of built-in modules, and you are using random range, and we are just trying to print something that's from that is from 1 to 10 number. Okay, so if I'm just simply using this thing in my code, So that would be like print, uh, let's just say for now print dot rand range, and then let's just say like 1 to 100. But I will let you know about what arrow we have here. So random is not defined, so you really have to import that thing. Just really did that just to let you guys know that you would be ending up having some errors. That is the most worst part of the coding thing. Okay, so it just simply, and if I'm just running this code again, then the number would be changed again. It's just simply guessing any number from 1 to 100 and simply randomly printing to us. Okay, and I can just simply, let's just say, if I can just simply create a variable. Okay, and then I'm using the random dot rand range, and then let's just say I'm just 1 to 10. Okay, and if I'm just printing anything, let's just say print x. So let's just write a message here. So it would be like x is now, using a comma to separate that thing. Okay, so x is now 1, so x is now 5, x is now 8. Okay, you can just simply make a little program, I mean, like, in which you would be saying guess a number. So you will running that code and the number would be changed every time you will run that thing. Okay, so uh, only this thing for now. Okay, and let's just start concluding exercise part 2. Okay, so how you can convert that number to the other type. So that would be like, if a number is like declared with an integer, so how you convert that to a floating number. If a number is declared with a floating number, so how you convert that to an integer, so what would be written here. Okay, and then in the last one it would be like insert a correct syntax to convert x into a complex number. Okay, so what would be written before it to make it a complex number. So we haven't discussed these things because we have covered all of these things, and we've talked about these things, how we are converting these things. Okay, so you don't really have to worry about a bit these things a lot. So yep, that's all for the video. Bye.